All right, so let's see what I'm working on right now. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. So I'm working on these different leads, just making sure I'm cleaning them out so they're easier to call. The big thing is making these lists as easy as possible because calling them is the best way to get deals, but it's really it's so boring. So a little bit of prep in the list. A lot of times I skip trace. I actually source this out. I have a kind of like a virtual assistant that I use for a couple different. This lady's actually in the Philippines and she does pretty well, but she's off for a family vacation they take a whole month off. So I'm getting a new list ready because I'm trying to get a few more deals before the end of the year, finish the year strong. So I'm doing it old school and cleaning my own list up so we can. Oh, I didn't do that. So I have an easy calling list and it's easier to scroll through and kind of get things going and, making sure that stuff's good. I really don't expect a bunch of people to jump on. I have not been live in a while. To be honest with you, I felt like last year I was wasting way too much time on social media, and I decided that I was going to focus on working and making money. So most of 2025, I've just kind of deep dived into my deals and didn't do much on social media, which I think is really, really bad, counterproductive of the community I've been trying to build. Y'all excuse me. Hey, what's up, Angie? I know I look crazy, but I just wanted to jump on live because I actually haven't went live once this entire year on YouTube, which is terrible because I did pretty well. I did pretty good in 2024. So what I put Angie is I was just logging on just to I'm cleaning up some lists. I'm gonna be making some calls next couple days, trying to lock up some appointments. And I was just telling everybody how I've dropped the ball on social media, where was not spending any time at all on YouTube or anything, just really focusing on doing deals and really knocking that kind of stuff out. And it was like I've had a pretty good year. I had a better year in 2025 than I did in 2024. At this point, the year's not even over, and I've killed 2025. I killed 2025's numbers compared to 2024. But what I did now is I created a list. I created a list of potential leads, and how I did that is show you here. This is kind of old school. There's a bunch of different methods and different tools you can use, but I will share my screen. Let me show you. I use Propelio still. I'm a big Propelio fan. And what I did is I just go through there and I create a list. And so like if we go here to list builder, I usually do single family homes, condos, townhomes, and duplexes. And I'll do multifamily. I should do mobile homes, farms, and commercial, but the lists come out being way too big and it takes too much time. So since I live in San Antonio, like I used to always do my minimum 3, but I always do 2, no max, year built, 1969 and newer. I try not to do any houses older than that. It just shoots me in the foot. Let me put myself on do not disturb because the whole universe texts me all day. And let's see, lot size, I don't care about that. Minimum baths, I don't care about that. I don't care about the size of the property either. I'll go through what kind of owners am I looking for. Length of ownership. This used to matter a lot for me. This used to not matter a lot for me, but I don't want to buy anything that's less than that people have barely purchased in the last 3 years, which hurts me, but I want them to at least own their house 3 years. Just because interest rates have been high, I'll do any kind of absentee owner. I'll do seniors, owner occupants, and even military. And you know what I forgot? I forgot to put where. And let's do Let's do what county should we do? Maybe I should let's do Comal County because I did. Let's see, we'll do Comal County, Bexar County, and I think that's good. And we're going to let that load for a minute. You can't see it because my big head's in the way, but it is loading. There's 61,955 results. So here it doesn't show them all, but it shows 50 at a time on this map view, where you kind of get an idea. It's like, hey, here's the different type of properties that you can look at. Right now it's showing value, estimated equity, the last time they were sold. And like I said, I wanted people that have owned their house at least 3 years when I'm generating these lists. So kind of looking at those different things. And sometimes I'm bored and I'll just scroll through here. I was like, hey, look at this. This house was built in 1981. It was sold in 2012. So I know there's equity because it's usually 10 or 11 years of having a mortgage before you have any equity. So let's just check this house out. Let's just use this one as an example for people that are joining us. So let's see, 78249. It's an older neighborhood, which I've sold a house. This is a huge neighborhood, but I sold a house on there's like Prairie Lace right here. It's actually that one right there. On 2023. So all right, so that's the neighborhood. This is the subject property. There's their name, their address. They've owned the property for 13 years. Let's see. They bought the house in 2012. Here's their document number. Here's all the information. They paid $143,000 for the house. Let's see. I don't know if this shows any foreclosure information. No pre-foreclosure information. So how you can simply get an idea if this house has any value is if you go to a mortgage calculator. This is my favorite one. She bought that. We're gonna even round up. She bought 143. We're gonna say her mortgage was 145,000. It said it's a standard mortgage, so she at least put. Well, no, that we'll put 0 because the mortgage is written after the down payment. Let's see. She bought in 2012. I don't know what their prime mortgage rates 2012. Let's get an idea what they were. In 2012 mortgage rates 3.65. So we just use that. Nope, we don't want to try a vacuum, so put 3.65. There's no PMI because it was not FHA, 30 years. And we're going to go back. So she bought that house in 2012. So we'll put 2012, and we'll just do January to, like I said, though, we're giving the most. And property taxes, I always do 2.2 in San Antonio. Average, it's at a good average. Let's see, make sure I messed nothing up. And I put too much, 145,000, not 1.4 million. So we go through all that information. That neighborhood does have HOE, so we're going to put, I think it's like $75. So it's our mortgage. Probably is $1,100 mortgage. Oh, I don't want to do that. $1,100 mortgage. I don't want to do that. Why does it keep doing that? Oh, it's because it's a sell thing. But this is the whole reason to look at this. You're going to come down and you're going to go to our current year, which is 2025, and we're going to go to November. So if she's paid her mortgage on time, she's about 33% paid off on her mortgage. She owes about $96,724. So now that I have that information, the reason why we even want that is because, you see, I'm going to write that down, 96,724. I didn't see any adjustments or modifications through COVID because older mortgages, you'll see a lot of that because the government was helping everybody during COVID time. But we have an idea. She owes a little under $100,000. So let's come back to this property, and just on the estimates, they say this house is worth $289,000, right? So let's run comps. One thing I like about Propelio is it pulls comps from the MLS in Texas. But we're looking at any type of property sold in the last 6 months within half a mile. And we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1981. So look, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2000. It's sold 924 for $270. On September 4th, we had another property sold for $322. On We had one that sold for 300. So even if we took an average, because the 300 one's the exact same size, we have one that sold for 247 in July. Let's just look at that one. Oh, it's not in the same neighborhood. We're gonna stay in the Hunter's Chase if we can. So if we use the second highest sold in here, we have one that's 270. All right, this is in the same neighborhood. Let's see how it looks. Decent floors. It's original, not rehabbed. You can see a little bit of splitting right there. In the early 90s, a lot of these properties, you'll catch up a bunch of cheap tape and float material. Original. The house is original. She might have done the tile, but for the most part, the house is original. So no major rehab. So they got 270 with no major rehab. Let's see what our subject property looks like. I mean, it's not listed, so we're just going to be able to look on the outside and get an idea what it looks like. So, it looks decently taken care of. Isn't it funny? This person doesn't even know I'm looking at their house to buy it. They're American. God bless America. Sorry. But that's kind of a quick way of how I look at a property when I start breaking it down. And I do this constantly over and over. And people tell me all the time, well, there's AIs now, and there's all these different tools you can use, and all this different stuff to be able to find properties. But this has made me a ton of money doing things this way, and it takes a lot of work. It's very tedious and time consuming. But when I gather this information together and I reach out to the homeowner, I'm in the playing field. Because when I talk to this lady and we start discussing what she wants for her property, all these different things along those lines, it's real easy for me to break down, what do they really need to walk away from the property? If she's like, well, I want to walk away from a house with $100,000. It's like, okay. She wants to walk with $100,000. She owes 96. So I need to offer $196,000. Then I have to look at the property, figure out the repairs, and we can do all that. You know what I mean? Once we walk the property, just say the repairs in this property are $40,000. You probably can't see my calculator because it doesn't let me share more than that. But let's see. If I offered her $200,000 for the house, plus we'll do $45,000 because everything's so expensive. $245,000 is an offer that's to make her happy. All right, this property is worth, we're just going to say $289. That's the average based on this. So when I calculate my numbers, this is very simple. Every investor uses this. You can put the 289. So 289,000 times 0.70. That breaks it to 202,300 minus 45,000. So I'll pay this lady $157,300 for this house. In the current market, when the market was real good during COVID and I could just sell anything for any amount and just anything would happen, it was real easy to like, oh, yeah, sure, let's do it. Lock it up. You can sell it. But in the current market, you have to be able to make money. So I would probably offer $150,000. So, if I offer her $150 minus the $93,574 she owes, if I can't do math, $150, that's why, minus the $94,000, easy math. She'll walk away with $56,000. Now that's $44,000 less than she wants, but that's a fair deal for me. That's a fair deal for her. So to make it work, that's who you have to appeal to. That's who you have to, hey, that's the offer I can give you. If the market changes, we can come back. And they're like, oh, David, you're screwing them over. It's like, well, just say she sells her house. Just say she sells her house for $200,000 through a realtor. All right, she's going to pay 6%. So, $200,000 times 0.06 is $12,000, right? So, and actually, you think I know that by the top of my head. So, my 200 minus 12,000 is 188. They're going to want some repairs because everything is done in retail. So, just say she's taking $15,000 in updates. You're at 173. After everything's said and done, and she pays title commitments and all these different things, we're going to be pretty darn close to the number I'm coming at. And I tell them that. No realtor fees. I make a cash offer. You don't have to wait for funding. You don't have to wait for anything. And we close on the property, and you don't have to do anything. You could pack a suitcase and leave everything in the house if you like. The other way around, we want it broom, we want it clean, we want it mopped. We want everything done perfect if you sell retail, which is great if you have a perfect house. But in this scenario, it's not a perfect house. It's something that you want to kind of look at. So I tell people that all the time. So it's really good. But I just wanted to hop on because I haven't been on in a long time, and I will start doing more live videos, start doing some content, start getting out there and growing my social media presence, because I do have a website, theomegacollective.com, that is I'm slacking on. I need to put I have a bunch of content that needs to be uploaded that I just haven't done. So I'm going to start working on that and really find a good balance of making a ton of money and building my collective community. But other than that, thank you. I think, Angie, you're the only one that's been on here a long time, and you're not on here now because you left. How rude. I'm kidding. But I'm just going to jump on and make sure that it still works. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.